Please, take a moment to simply be, wherever you are right now, whatever space you find yourself in at the end of this long day. Allow yourself to arrive fully. You have spent so many hours in motion, navigating the rushing currents of a world that constantly asks for your attention, your energy, and your time. But right now, in this softly lit corner of the night, nothing is required of you. There is no destination to reach, no task to complete, no expectation to fulfill. Let your body grow heavy, sinking gently into the soft surface beneath you. Allow your shoulders, which may have been carrying the invisible weight of the day, to finally drop. Unclench your jaw. Let the tiny muscles around your eyes soften and smooth out. Breathe in, slowly and deeply, drawing the quiet air into your lungs. And as you breathe out, imagine the events of the day gently fading, washing away like footprints on a shoreline returning to the sea. You are safe here. You are allowed to let go. You have earned this rest, this quiet surrender to the night. Welcome to Sleep Deep, your sanctuary for the soul, a place where we journey together into the most peaceful corners of the natural world. Before we drift deeper into tonight's gentle journey, remember to subscribe to Sleep Deep. Here, you'll always find peaceful stories that soothe the heart and quiet the mind. Where are you listening from tonight? Leave a comment. Your presence adds warmth to this quiet corner of the night. Here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark. Tonight, we are traveling far away from the concrete streets, the bright screen, and the endless hum of the modern world. We are crossing oceans and continents in the theater of our minds, arriving at the very heart of an ancient, breathing rainforest, just as the day prepares to fold into the night. Imagine standing at the edge of this vast, emerald kingdom. The air here is entirely different from the air of the city. It is deeply warm, carrying a stable, comforting humidity that feels like a soft, enveloping embrace. It smells of rich, damp earth, of green leaves releasing their stored sunlight, and of sweet, unseen blossoms hiding in the shadows. When you breathe in this air, it feels nourishing, as if the forest itself is sharing its ancient vitality with you, offering a slow, rhythmic pulse for your own heart to follow. This forest is not merely a collection of trees. It is a magnificent, living tower, a masterfully constructed architecture of life that stretches from the deep, nutrient-rich soil all the way up to the clouds. Look up, into the sprawling canopy above. It is a sky forest, a woven ceiling of infinite green, where massive branches interlock like the supportive fingers of old friends. Up there, in the highest reaches, the last golden rays of the setting sun are painting the leaves in brilliant strokes of amber, copper, and soft rose. The light is not harsh, it is the forgiving, mellow light of evening, a gentle glow that signals the end of labor and the beginning of restoration. As we descend our gaze, moving slowly down the immense, textured trunks of these ancient giants, we watch the light softly fade. Below the canopy, the forest transforms into a world of profound, velvety twilight. Here, in the understory, the light is filtered into a cool, dusky blue-green. Shadows lengthen and blur, softening the hard edges of the world. This fading light is not something to be feared. It is a protective cloak, a quiet curtain being drawn across the stage of the forest, offering a safe, hidden sanctuary for the countless gentle souls who call this place home. Listen closely. The sounds of this forest are not random, nor are they chaotic. They are an orchestrated symphony of quietude, a schedule of peaceful transitions. The daytime creatures, the brightly colored birds, the busy insects are winding down, their songs tapering off into soft, sleepy murmurs. They are retreating into the hollows of trees, tucking their heads beneath their wings, wrapping themselves in large, velvety leaves. In their place, a new, softer layer of sound begins to emerge. It is the rhythmic, hypnotic chirp of evening crickets, the distant, hollow drum of a tree frog, and the continuous, soothing sigh of the wind passing through a million leaves. When was the last time you looked up at a canopy of stars, or listened to the wind in the trees, and felt completely at peace? If tonight's story brings a gentle memory to the surface of your mind, allow it to float there, warming you from the inside out. Let us wander, slowly and without any sense of urgency, down a soft, moss-covered path toward the heart of this sanctuary. The ground beneath our feet is a thick, spongy carpet of fallen leaves and ancient soil, absorbing our footsteps so completely that we walk in absolute silence. Every step is cushioned. Every movement is absorbed by the deep, yielding earth. We are mere observers here, moving like soft breezes through a world that knows exactly how to care for itself. Through the clearing ahead, the silver ribbon of a slow-moving river reveals itself. This river is the quiet artery of the forest, a peaceful, meandering water highway that carries the gentle life of the jungle upon its back. The water is perfectly smooth, undisturbed by rapids or sharp rocks. It glides forward with a thick, heavy grace, reflecting the deepening indigo of the twilight sky above. Drifting along the surface of this river are fallen leaves, spinning lazily, carrying tiny, sleeping passengers, perhaps a resting beetle or a tired butterfly to safe harbors downstream. Stand beside this river for a moment. Watch the water flow. Notice how it does not rush, how it does not fight the banks that guide it, but simply yields to the gentle pull of the earth, flowing ever onward in complete surrender. There is a profound wisdom in this water. It reminds us that we do not always need to push, to strive, to force our way through life. Sometimes, the most powerful thing we can do is simply allow ourselves to be carried, to trust the flow, to let the current of rest take us exactly where we need to go. In this forest, survival is not about constant motion or exhausting vigilance. For the creatures we will soon meet, life is beautifully paced. They understand that to rest is to survive. That stillness is just as vital as movement, and that the night is not a time of emptiness, but a time of quiet, necessary filling. As the sky above the canopy darkens into a profound, starry black, the forest around us breathes out a long, collective sigh. The air cools slightly. The mists begin to roll gently off the surface of the river, and the world prepares to sleep. And as you continue to listen, letting the soft, warm tones of this story wash over you, you too can begin to release the final anchors holding you to the waking world. With every word spoken, your breath becomes a little slower, your heart beats a little softer, and your mind drifts a little further down the quiet, winding river of peace, moving effortlessly toward a deep, untroubled slumber. As the last delicate hues of lavender and bruised purple surrender to the deep, velvety expanse of the night, a profound and comforting darkness settles over the rainforest. But this darkness is not empty. It is a thick, protective blanket, woven from the shadows of ancient trees and the soft, humid air that holds the warmth of the day close to the earth. If you were to close your eyes right now, you might feel that same warmth resting gently against your skin, a reminder that you are held securely in this quiet moment. We find ourselves looking upward again, away from the slow-moving river and into the vast architecture of the canopy. Up here, suspended halfway between the earth and the stars, exists an entire world known as the sky forest. Massive branches, thicker than the trunks of most ordinary trees, stretch outward like welcoming arms. They are draped in thick, silver-green mosses and adorned with thousands of epiphytes, plants that have chosen to live high above the ground, making their homes directly on the bark of these gentle giants. Notice how peaceful this high neighborhood is. During the day, it was a bustling thoroughfare. But now, a beautiful order takes over. The rainforest operates on a quiet schedule, a silent agreement among all its residents. Instead of competing for attention in the dark, the creatures of the night have their own designated moments, their own quiet niches in time. It is a perfectly choreographed dance of sound and silence, ensuring that no one is overwhelmed and everyone has a space to simply be. It is a reminder to our own busy minds that not everything needs to happen all at once. There is a time to speak, a time to move, and, most importantly, a time to rest. High up in this sky forest, nestled in the crook of a sturdy branch, sits a cluster of bromeliads. Their long, arching leaves grow tightly together in a circle, forming deep, natural bowls. Earlier today, a brief, gentle rain shower passed over the canopy, and these living bowls have collected the fresh, clear water, creating tiny, private pools suspended high in the air. Look closely at the surface of one of these miniature lakes. It perfectly reflects the faint glimmer of a single star that has managed to peek through the dense leaves above. Resting peacefully on the very edge of this bromeliad is a tiny tree frog. Its skin is a brilliant, polished green, smooth and cool to the touch, though in this light, it appears as a soft silhouette. It is not moving. It does not need to. It has found a safe haven, a private sanctuary, complete with its own small reservoir of water. The frog breathes in a slow, rhythmic cadence, its tiny sides expanding and contracting with a soothing regularity. Just watching it breathe, you might find your own breaths matching its slow, steady pace, drawing in the cool night air and releasing any lingering tension from your shoulders, your neck, your jaw. A gentle breeze begins to weave its way through the upper branches. It is a soft, sweeping motion that causes the entire canopy to sway in a slow, hypnotic rhythm. The leaves rustle softly, a sound like an ocean wave breaking miles away on a sandy shore. And there, perfectly camouflaged among the swaying leaves, is a master, of tranquility, the stick insect. It is a creature so perfectly attuned to its environment that it has become one with the tree itself. Its long, slender body mimics the exact texture and color of a small, pale twig. As the breeze pushes the branch back and forth, the stick insect does not resist. It does not cling in fear or try to fight the motion. Instead, it simply sways along with the leaf, adopting the exact tempo of the wind. When the wind slows, the insect slows. When the wind stops, the insect becomes perfectly, incredibly still. There is a beautiful surrender in this behavior. The stick insect does not waste energy battling the forces around it. It finds harmony within them. It moves with a deliberate, slow-motion grace that feels almost like a meditation. It lifts one delicate, jointed leg, holds it suspended in the air for a long, quiet moment, and then places it softly on the next leaf, making absolutely no sound. If this story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself. Remind yourself that, like this creature of the forest, you too are allowed to move slowly. You do not always have to rush. You are allowed to take your time, to find your balance, and to sway gently through the challenges of your day without letting them break you. As our gaze drifts from the high canopy back down toward the forest floor, a soft shadow detaches itself from the darkness. It is an owl, embarking on its nightly journey. But there is no startling flap of wings, no rush of air. The owl's flight is a masterpiece of silent navigation. Its feathers are specially fringed, designed by nature to absorb the sound of the wind, allowing it to glide through the dense trees with absolute, ghost-like silence. Watch as it sweeps in a slow, graceful arc between the massive trunks. It is not hurrying. It is simply floating on the cool currents of the night air, an observer of the quiet world below. The owl represents the ultimate calmness of the night, the ability to move through the darkness with ease, without fear, finding clarity when the bright lights of the day have faded. As it disappears into the deeper shadows, it leaves behind a profound sense of stillness, a quiet hush that settles over the forest like falling snow. Down here, on the very bottom layer of the forest, the darkness feels almost complete. But as your eyes adjust, a soft, magical phenomenon begins to reveal itself. Scattered across the decaying logs and the rich, damp soil are tiny, glowing clusters of light. These are bioluminescent mushrooms, often called foxfire or fairy fire. They do not burn with the harsh, blinding light of our cities. Instead, they emit a cool, pale, luminescent green glow, soft and steady. They look like dozens of tiny, living lanterns, carefully placed along the forest floor to guide the weary traveler. In a place where the sun cannot reach, the earth creates its own gentle illumination. These glowing mushrooms thrive on the fallen wood, slowly turning what has passed away into new, vital energy. They are a quiet reminder that nothing in this forest is ever truly lost. It is simply transformed. Even in the deepest shadows, even in moments of quiet ending, there is a soft, enduring light that remains. Imagine walking among these tiny, green lanterns. Their light does not reach far, but it is enough. It is enough to show you the next step, enough to reassure you that the path is safe. You do not need to see miles ahead. You only need enough light for the present moment. Let the image of those soft green lights anchor your mind. Let them be a safe, glowing harbor for your thoughts to rest upon. The forest is settling deeper into its slumber. The breathing of the earth is becoming longer, slower, and infinitely peaceful. You are a part of this quiet rhythm now. There is nowhere else you need to be. Let us return to the edge of the quiet, slow-moving river we discovered earlier. In the heart of this ancient rainforest, water is not merely a resource. It is the very lifeblood that connects every living soul. A silver highway that winds its way through the emerald shadows. As the night deepens, the surface of the river becomes a perfect, dark mirror, reflecting the faint, silvery dust of the Milky Way that stretches across the narrow strip of sky visible between the canopy branches. Breathe in the cool, humid air that rises from the water's surface. It carries the scent of damp earth, of ancient stones smoothed by centuries of gentle currents, and of sweet, resting green leaves. The river does not rush. It has no impending deadlines, no urgent appointments to keep. It simply flows, wide and heavy, moving with a profound, unhurried grace that seems to say, asterisk, there is time enough for everything. Asterisk, floating upon this dark, glassy surface are tiny vessels of future life. Imagine a single, winged seed, no larger than a delicate fingernail, that has drifted down from the highest branches of a mahogany tree. It landed on the water with the softest of whispers. And now, it embarks on a quiet voyage. This seed does not struggle against the current. It does not try to swim upstream or control its ultimate destination. It simply rests upon the surface tension of the water, trusting the river completely. It may float for days, or even weeks, carried along in a state of peaceful suspension, waiting patiently for the river to gently wash it ashore onto a fertile, sunlit bank. This tiny seed holds a profound lesson for our own weary minds. How often do we exhaust ourselves trying to paddle upstream against the currents of our own lives? How often do we worry about a destination we cannot yet see? The seed reminds us that there is immense power in surrender. There is a deep, abiding peace in allowing ourselves to be carried by the flow of time, trusting that we will eventually land exactly where we are meant to be. As you lie there, feeling the comforting weight of your blankets, imagine yourself floating just like that seed. Let the river of the night carry your worries away, downstream and out of sight. You do not need to figure everything out right now. You only need to rest. Following the gentle curve of the river, our eyes are drawn to a smooth, partially submerged log resting near the muddy bank. The wood is ancient, covered in a soft, thick layer of velvet green moss. Resting upon this log is a creature that seems to embody the very spirit of time and endurance, a large river turtle. The turtle has pulled itself out of the water to rest, its beautifully patterned shell still glistening with moisture. It sits in absolute stillness, a monument of peace in the twilight. Its eyes are half closed, blinking with a slowness that feels almost hypnotic. But the turtle is not alone. In a display of nature's most delicate magic, a small cloud of vibrant yellow and soft blue butterflies has gathered around the turtle's head. They flutter with complete silence, their wings moving in a slow, rhythmic beat that mimics the gentle pulsing of a quiet heart. One by one, they land softly upon the turtle's weathered face, right near its eyes. They are there to drink. The gentle tears of the turtle carry precious trace minerals and salts that the butterflies need but cannot find in the nectar of flowers. And the beautiful truth of this encounter is that the turtle does not mind. It does not snap. It does not hide. And it does not brush them away. It simply blinks, slowly and calmly, offering its quiet support. In this moment, the resting turtle becomes a living, breathing mineral spring with a face, a sanctuary of life and mutual trust. It is a stunning portrait of peaceful coexistence, a reminder that survival in this vast world is not always about fierce competition or guarding oneself. Often, the most beautiful moments of existence depend on gentle partnerships, on allowing others to lean on us softly, and on sharing the quiet grace we possess. When was the last time you looked up at the night sky and felt at peace? Or perhaps, when was the last time a quiet moment with an animal or a loved one made the heavy world feel perfectly light? If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, feel free to share it below in the comments when you awaken. Here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark, and your memories add warmth to this shared, peaceful space. Leaving the turtle and its silent, winged companions, we shift our gaze slightly to the damp, mossy bank just a few feet away. Here, the earth is incredibly rich, a miniature forest of its own. Among the damp moss, a tiny, fascinating plant makes its home. It is a sundew. In the soft glow of the moonlight filtering through the trees, the sundew looks like a beautiful, intricate piece of jewelry. Its rounded leaves are covered in delicate, reddish tentacles, and at the tip of each tentacle sits a perfect, glistening drop of moisture that sparkles like a microscopic diamond. But what is most mesmerizing about the sundew is its relationship with time. To the human eye, the plant appears completely motionless. Yet, it is moving. If we were to slow down our perception, to stretch a single hour into a vast, expansive landscape of time, we would see the sundew gently, deliberately curling its leaves inward. It is a movement of such profound slowness, such extreme patience, that it defies our modern understanding of action. It does not snap, it folds. It does not rush. It simply exists in a state of perpetual, slow-motion grace. It takes hours for a single leaf to fully curl, moving with the unhurried precision of the hour hand on an ancient grandfather clock. Watching the sundew in the theater of your mind, you can almost feel the gears of your own thoughts beginning to slow down, matching its glacial, deliberate pace, the frantic energy of the day, the racing thoughts, the endless to-do lists. They all begin to lose their power here. They are absorbed by the vast, quiet patience of the forest. There is no rush here. The river will continue to flow. The turtle will continue to dream. The sundew will continue its silent, invisible dance. And you, held safely in the gentle arms of the night, can simply let go. Allow your breathing to become as slow and steady as the curling of the sundew leaf. Allow your muscles to become as heavy and relaxed as the ancient turtle resting on the mossy log. The forest holds you. The night protects you. And as we prepare to drift even further into the velvet shadows, know that you are exactly where you need to be. surrounded by a world that asks nothing of you but to close your eyes. Breathe deeply and surrender to the beautiful, healing power of sleep. Let us gently lift our gaze from the slow, deliberate meditation of the forest floor, allowing our attention to float upward once more into the mid-canopy. The night has fully settled now, wrapping the emerald world in a cool, protective embrace. The air here is incredibly still, carrying only the faintest whisper of a breeze, just enough to rustle the highest leaves, creating a sound like a soft exhale. Breathe in that quiet air. Feel it fill your lungs with the pure, untouched essence of the ancient woods. And as you breathe out, let your body sink just a fraction of an inch deeper into the warmth of your bed. In this gentle darkness, illuminated only by the occasional beam of starlight piercing the dense foliage, we discover a masterpiece of natural architecture. Hanging delicately at the end of a long, swaying branch is a cluster of broad, green leaves. But these leaves are not simply growing as they usually do. They have been meticulously, lovingly drawn together to form a perfect, enclosed sphere, a living tent suspended in the quiet air. This is the sanctuary of the weaver ants. In the waking hours of the world, we often think of survival as a solitary endeavor, a harsh landscape of individuals fending for themselves. But here, in the hushed canopy, the weaver ants tell an entirely different story. Their existence is a profound testament to the power of community, of gentle cooperation, and of incredible, painstaking care. Imagine watching them work in the fading twilight. Their movements, a silent, synchronized ballet, a chain of adult ants, holding on to one another with delicate precision, bridges the gap between two separate leaves. Slowly, smoothly, they pull the edges of the leaves together. There is no force here, only a collective, steady patience. But the true magic lies in how they bind their home. The adult ants gently hold their own tiny larvae, the youngest, softest members of their family in their mandibles. They do not do this to harm them, but to partner with them. The larvae possess a remarkable gift. They can produce a single, continuous thread of pure, liquid silk. Moving with extreme care, the adult ants pass the larvae back and forth across the joined edges of the leaves, like a weaver gently passing a shuttle across a loom. The larvae dab their silk onto the green surface, creating a gossamer thread that instantly hardens into a strong, flexible bond. Thread by thread, movement by gentle movement, they stitch the living leaves together. They are not merely building a nest, they are weaving a cradle. Inside this silken sphere, the air is perfectly still. The temperature is carefully regulated, and the entire colony can rest safely, hidden entirely from the vast, unpredictable world outside. It is a fortress built not of stone or wood, but of silk, patience, and profound communal care. Think about the silken walls of that tiny sanctuary. Imagine wrapping a similar layer of soft, protective silk around your own mind tonight. With every slow breath you take, picture a shimmering thread of peace wrapping around your worries, binding them softly, keeping the noise of the outside world safely at bay. Inside your own woven sanctuary, you are warm, you are secure, you are deeply, profoundly safe. If this story brought you calm, Leave a gentle comment for yourself in the morning. Remind yourself that it is okay to build soft boundaries, to weave your own quiet spaces where the demands of the world cannot reach you. Here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark. As we leave the silken cradle to its quiet slumber, we drift along the invisible currents of the night air, moving deeper into the heart of the forest. The scent of the air begins to shift, becoming sweeter, richer, carrying the heavy, intoxicating aroma of ripening fruit. We arrive at the base of a true titan of the rainforest, a massive fig tree. Its trunk is wider than a house, its roots sprawling out across the forest floor like the muscular, sleeping fingers of an ancient giant. This tree is a pillar of life, a silent, towering provider that anchors the entire ecosystem. In the human world, we are often conditioned to believe in scarcity, to feel that there is never enough time, never enough energy, never enough to go around. But the giant fig tree operates on a philosophy of absolute, unconditional abundance. It does not hoard its energy. It does not bloom or fruit just once a year. Instead, in a quiet rhythm known only to itself, it produces thousands upon thousands of soft, nourishing figs, offering them freely to the forest. Look up into its sprawling branches. In the quiet of the night, a peaceful gathering is taking place. The tree has become a midnight oasis. Soft-furred creatures, slow-moving mammals, and gentle night birds have all arrived. Drawn by the sweet scent, there is no urgency here, no frantic competition. The canopy is so vast, the fruit so plentiful, that every creature finds its own quiet corner to dine. Listen to the incredibly soft sounds of this midnight feast. There is the gentle rustle of leaves as a creature reaches out a delicate paw. There is the incredibly soft times, thud times, of an overripe fig releasing its hold on the branch and landing safely on the mossy floor below, where other, ground-dwelling spirits wait patiently for their share. The tree gives, and the forest receives. It is a beautiful, endless cycle of nourishment and gratitude. The tree does not ask for anything in return for its sweet offerings. It simply stands tall, deeply rooted in the earth, providing a haven of nourishment for any weary traveler who passes by. Imagine yourself resting at the base of this magnificent tree. Feel the solid, ancient wood supporting your back. Feel the deep, slow pulse of the tree's life force, drawing water up from the cool, dark earth, sending it all the way to the highest leaves. As you rest beneath its wide, protective canopy, you can let go of the feeling that you must constantly strive to provide for yourself. For this moment, in this quiet place, everything you need is already here. The air is sweet, the ground is soft, and the world is holding you in a state of perfect, peaceful abundance. Let your breathing synchronize with the slow, eternal rhythm of the giant tree. Inhale the sweet, damp air, and exhale, letting your roots sink deeper into the mattress. Inhale the quiet peace of the canopy, and exhale, letting your mind grow as still as the heavy, sleeping branches above. The forest is watching over you. The night is a gentle blanket, and sleep is waiting, just a few slow breaths away. Let us linger a moment longer in the deep, sheltering shadows of this ancient woodland. allowing the profound wisdom of the forest to gently wash over our tired minds. In the human world, we are so often taught to hold on tightly to our achievements, to our youth, to our fleeting moments of success, and even to our worries. We fear the changing of the seasons, the fading of the light, and the inevitable moments of letting go. But the rainforest holds a completely different philosophy. A quiet, reassuring truth about the nature of existence that can soothe the heaviest of hearts. Here, release is not a tragedy. It is a beautiful, necessary surrender. A deeply generous act that sustains the magnificent web of life. Look up once more, past the thick, moss-draped branches, to where a single, broad leaf is preparing for its final journey. For months, this leaf has been a silent worker, capturing the golden sunlight, drinking in the heavy rains, and converting the very air into sweet nourishment for the giant tree that held it. But now, its time of labor is beautifully complete. The leaf has turned from a vibrant, glossy green to a soft, muted gold, its edges curling slightly as it prepares to rest. There is no struggle in this detachment. The tree does not clutch at the leaf, and the leaf does not fight the gentle pull of the earth. In a moment of absolute, quiet grace, the tiny connection at the base of the stem simply dissolves. The leaf falls, but notice how it does not plummet. It drifts. It catches the invisible, slow-moving currents of the night air, swaying side to side in a hypnotic, pendulum-like motion, performing a slow, silent waltz as it descends through the cooling layers of the canopy. This falling leaf is not a symbol of an ending. It is a passing of the torch, as it finally comes to rest upon the soft, spongy floor of the forest. It joins a thick, fragrant carpet of millions of other leaves, branches, and fallen flowers. In our busy lives, we might look at this layer and see only decay, an end to a beautiful story. But in the quiet logic of the rainforest, this dark, damp earth is the very engine of life itself. It is here, in the cool shadows, that a profound and gentle alchemy takes place. The fallen leaf begins to soften, yielding its form back to the earth. A microscopic universe of quiet, tireless workers, the glowing fungi we saw earlier, the slow-moving beetles. The incredibly patient earthworms embrace the leaf. They do not destroy it, they transform it. They gently dismantle its golden structure, unlocking all the captured sunlight, the gathered rainwater, and the rich minerals it held so faithfully. In a matter of days, the leaf is reabsorbed, its energy released directly into the shallow, waiting roots of the giant trees above. The loss is entirely real, yet it immediately feeds a breathtaking renewal. The energy of the fallen leaf will soon become the vibrant green of a new sprout, the sweet nectar of a midnight blossom, or the bright feather of a resting bird. When we realize that nothing is ever truly lost here, only beautifully transformed, a deep, comforting warmth settles in the chest. If this story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself. Remind your waking mind that your own moments of letting go, your own seasons of quiet retreat, are not failures. They are the essential, nourishing rest periods that prepare the soil of your life for new, beautiful growth. Here, No one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark, guiding us to a place of understanding and peace. As the night deepens, the forest begins another of its quiet miracles. We often think of rain as something that simply falls from the sky, a gift bestowed upon the passive earth. But this immense, breathing forest is not passive. It is a creator, all around us. Millions of leaves are exhaling. They are pulling the cool, dark water deep from the earth, drawing it up through the colossal trunks, and releasing it as a fine, invisible vapor into the night air. This collective breath of the forest rises slowly, catching the faint chill of the upper atmosphere, and begins to condense. The trees are literally breathing clouds into existence. They are gathering the moisture they will need for tomorrow, weaving a thick, protective blanket of mist that will eventually return to them as a soft, nourishing rain. The forest takes care of itself. It creates its own atmosphere, its own perfect weather, drawing exactly what it needs from within. Imagine your own breath mirroring this beautiful, self-sustaining cycle. As you inhale slowly, imagine drawing up a deep, cool well of peace from within your own core. And as you exhale, imagine breathing out a soft, protective mist of calm that settles gently over your mind, shielding you from the harshness of the outside world. You, too, have the power to create your own quiet weather. You have the ability to cultivate a sanctuary of stillness right where you are, simply by slowing your breath and allowing your body to soften. Let us shift our gaze downward once more, past the rich, fragrant soil, deep into the dark, silent earth beneath the roots. Here lies the ultimate masterclass in patience, a single, dormant seed. This tiny speck of life may have fallen from the canopy years, perhaps even decades ago. It rests in complete darkness, buried beneath the damp layers of the forest floor. The soil is heavy, the light is non-existent, and yet the seed does not panic. It does not exert useless energy trying to push through a barrier it cannot yet break. It simply waits. It knows, with an ancient, cellular wisdom, that its time will eventually come. It waits for a subtle shift in the temperature, a specific vibration of the rain, or perhaps the day when an ancient tree finally falls, tearing a hole in the thick canopy above. When that shaft of golden sunlight finally pierces the gloom and touches the earth where the seed lies sleeping, it will awaken. But until that exact, perfect moment arrives, the seed chooses the profound peace of stillness. It is a beautiful reminder that we do not always need to force our way forward. We do not always need to break through the darkness immediately. Sometimes, the most powerful and necessary thing we can do is simply rest in the quiet unknown, trusting that the light will eventually find us. When was the last time you looked up at the night sky and felt at peace, knowing that the universe operates on a timeline much older and wiser than our own? When was the last time you gave yourself the permission to simply wait, without anxiety, without the need to immediately fix or solve everything in front of you? As you lie there, feeling the heavy, comforting pull of gravity anchoring you to your bed, allow yourself to adopt the quiet confidence of the patient seed. There is no rush. There is no urgency in this velvety darkness. The world will continue to turn. The forest will continue to breathe. and the river will continue its slow, silver journey toward the sea. You do not need to carry the weight of tomorrow. You only need to be here, in this incredibly soft moment, letting the gentle philosophy of the earth soothe your weary spirit. Let your breathing become longer, slower, and completely effortless. Let the boundaries between yourself and the quiet night softly blur, as you drift further and further into a state of absolute, untroubled tranquility. As we leave the patient seed to its long, peaceful slumber beneath the surface of the earth, we let our awareness gently rise back up to the soft, mossy floor of the rainforest. The night has deepened further, wrapping the world in a profound and comforting stillness. The air is noticeably cooler now, carrying the faint, sweet scent of damp earth and the heavy, humid fragrance of night-blooming jasmine. A delicate silver mist has begun to form, creeping slowly over the roots of the giant trees and pooling in the low-lying hollows of the forest. It is a protective veil, softening the edges of the world, making everything appear as though it is wrapped in layers of cool, gray silk. In this deep, hushed hour, when the frantic energy of the day is nothing more than a distant memory, a gentle giant of the understory makes its quiet appearance, moving with a slow, deliberate grace that belies its substantial size. A tapir steps softly through the ancient ferns. This creature is a master of the shadowy realm. Its body, built with a sturdy, quiet strength, is uniquely adapted to navigate the dense, tangled architecture of the forest floor without making a single, sharp sound. Watch as it moves. Each step is incredibly intentional. It does not rush blindly into the dark. Instead, it places one padded, deeply cushioned foot delicately onto the damp earth, testing the ground, feeling the texture of the moss and the fallen leaves before fully committing its weight. It is a slow, rhythmic progression, a walking meditation that honors the quiet sanctity of the night. The tapir does not rely heavily on its eyesight in this velvety darkness. Instead, it trusts its other, far more sensitive perceptions. Its flexible, prehensile snout moves gently back and forth, reading the intricate, invisible stories carried on the night air. It navigates by scent, by memory, and by an ancient, instinctual knowing that guides it safely through the shadows. There is a beautiful, deeply comforting lesson in the way this creature moves through the unseen world. In our own lives, we often feel anxious when we cannot see the entire path ahead of us. We want a clear, brightly lit map of the future. And when the way becomes shrouded in uncertainty, we tend to freeze, or to panic, or to exhaust ourselves trying to force the light. But the tapir reminds us that we do not always need to see the destination to move forward safely. Sometimes, all we need to do is trust our inner senses, take things one incredibly slow, deliberate step at a time, and rely on the quiet intuition that has always guided us through our darkest hours. As the tapir wanders peacefully through the mist, it arrives at the edge of a shallow, natural depression in the earth, filled with cool, dark mud left behind by the afternoon rains. This is exactly what the gentle wanderer has been seeking. With a long, slow exhale that sounds incredibly like a sigh of deep relief, the tapir wades into the pool. It slowly lowers its heavy body, allowing the soft, yielding mud to rise up along its flanks. The earth embraces the creature perfectly, conforming to its shape, supporting its weight, and offering a profound, cooling relief to its skin. The mud is a natural balm, drawing out the heat of the day, soothing tired muscles, and providing a protective, comforting layer against the night. The tapir closes its eyes and simply rests there, entirely supported by the earth. It does not need to hold itself up anymore. It can completely surrender its mass to the soft, holding cradle of the mud pool. Imagine, for a moment, your own bed as this perfect, yielding space. As you lie there, feel the mattress rising up to meet you, conforming to the unique shape of your body. You do not need to hold your own weight anymore. You do not need to tense your muscles or brace yourself against the world. Let the mattress hold you completely. Feel the heavy, comforting pull of gravity drawing you deeper into the softness, soothing the aches of your long day, and providing a safe, quiet haven where absolutely nothing is expected of you. When was the last time you looked up at the night sky and felt at peace? When was the last time you allowed yourself to simply sink into a moment of rest without feeling the need to immediately get back up and be productive? If tonight's story reminded you of a beautiful memory, feel free to share it below when the morning comes. Here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark, and your gentle reflections help to illuminate this quiet space for all of us, leaving the tapir to its peaceful, cooling rest. We let our gaze drift gently upward, following the soft curl of the mist as it rises toward the lower branches of a nearby shrub. There, clinging silently to the underside of a wide, dark green leaf, is one of the forest's most delicate and ethereal inhabitants, a lunar moth. In the faint, silver light that manages to filter down through the canopy, the moth is a vision of pure, soft tranquility. Its wide wings are a pale, luminous green, edged in the softest shades of violet and delicate yellow. But what is most remarkable about this creature is its texture. The moth is covered entirely in a fine, powdery down, making it look as though it has been cut from the most luxurious, thick velvet. This velvet coating is not just for beauty, it is a profound adaptation for peace. The soft fur absorbs sound, allowing the moth to fly through the dark with absolute, ghostly silence, remaining invisible to the echolocating calls of hunting bats. The moth survives by being incredibly soft, by absorbing the sharp edges of the world around it rather than fighting back. It rests there perfectly still, its long, elegant tails trailing delicately behind it like ribbons in a faint breeze. Its large, feathery antennae sweep gently through the air, sensing the invisible chemistry of the night. This beautiful creature exists in a state of pure, quiet being. In its adult form, it does not even possess a mouth. It does not eat. It does not consume. It does not strive to gather resources. Its only purpose in this brief, radiant stage of its life is to take to the air, to find connection, and to grace the night with its silent, velvety presence. The moth is a gentle reminder that our worth is not always measured by what we consume, what we produce, or how loudly we announce our presence in the world. Sometimes, the most beautiful and valuable thing we can do is simply exist, to bring our own quiet, soft energy to the spaces we inhabit, and to rest peacefully when the time comes. If this story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself. Acknowledge your own need for softness. Give yourself the permission to be like the velvet moth tonight, to simply rest on your leaf, entirely still, entirely peaceful, absorbing the quiet of the night and letting the sharp noises of the world be muffled by your own profound calm. Let your breath mirror the stillness of the resting moth. Inhale deeply, drawing the cool, misty air into your lungs. Hold it for just a soft, fleeting second. And exhale, releasing any final traces of tension from your chest, your arms, your hands. Let your fingers uncurl. Let your mind become as pale, as soft, and as completely tranquil as those wide, velvet wings. You are drifting now, moving further away from the waking hours, supported by the earth, guided by the gentle spirits of the forest, and sinking deeply, beautifully into the quiet depths of the night. As the night wraps its soft, immense arms around the ancient rainforest, the cool silver mist we watched pooling on the forest floor begins to rise. It gently weaves its way up through the lower branches, curling like slow-moving smoke around the dark trunks of the trees. The air is incredibly heavy now, carrying a deep, comforting quiet that settles over the world like a thick, woolen blanket. The frantic, colorful energies of the daytime are entirely gone, replaced by a monochrome landscape of deep indigos, soft charcoals, and the occasional, reassuring gleam of starlight breaking through the canopy. Let yourself sink into this profound quiet. Feel the weight of the night pressing softly against your tired shoulders, encouraging them to drop just a little further into the mattress. In this deep, hushed hour, the forest reveals one of its most beautiful and touching secrets, a gentle truth about how life endures in the shadows. We drift silently toward the hollowed-out center of an ancient, sleeping cedar tree. Inside this vast, wooden chamber, safely hidden away from the winds and the dampness of the night, a colony of small, gentle night bats has gathered. They have returned from their evening flights, having navigated the dark pathways of the sky, using only their soft, clicking whispers. Now, they are resting, hanging upside down in a tight, beautifully clustered group. In the waking world, we are often taught that survival in the wild is a solitary, fiercely competitive struggle, a landscape where only the strongest and the most independent thrive. But here, in the warm, dark heart of the cedar tree, these tiny creatures tell a completely different story. Their existence is a profound testament to the power of connection, empathy, and absolute trust. Watch as they settle in for the night. They do not isolate themselves. Instead, they huddle close together, their soft, velvet-furred bodies pressed against one another to share their warmth. And they do something even more remarkable. In the wild, finding enough sustenance every single night is not always guaranteed. Some bats return to the roost, weary and empty-handed. But in this quiet community, no one is left to struggle alone. The bats possess incredible memories, not just for the winding pathways of the forest, but for each other. They remember who their friends are. They remember who helped them in the past. And so, those who have gathered enough vital nourishment during their flight will gently approach the ones who are tired and hungry. With soft, comforting nuzzles and tender grooming, they share what they have. They offer drops of life-sustaining nourishment to their companions, asking for nothing in return, knowing deeply that on another night, when they are the ones in need, that same kindness will be returned to them. This beautiful act of sharing this reciprocal altruism is the very foundation of their survival. They do not outlast the night by being the largest or the most aggressive. They survive because of their friendships. They endure because they hold on to each other. In the quiet darkness of your own room, let that thought rest warmly in your chest. In our own lives, when the shadows feel deep and the days feel harsh, our survival, our peace, and our strength are so often determined by the gentle friendships we nurture. We are kept safe by the soft bonds of trust, by the people who share their warmth when we are weary, and by the comforting knowledge that we do not have to carry the weight of the world entirely on our own shoulders. If this story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself in the morning. Remind yourself that it is okay to lean on others, just as it is beautiful to offer your own strength when you can. Here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark, and the warmth of this community is always here to welcome you. Leaving the warm, sleeping colony in the hollow tree, our gaze drifts upward, climbing the intricate ladder of vines and branches until we reach the highest, most peaceful layer of the canopy. Here, the air is perfectly still. The leaves do not rustle, they simply hang, heavy with the night's dew. In the crook of a massive, horizontal branch, resting with a profound, unbothered grace, is a creature that has entirely mastered the art of slowness. It is a three-toed sloth. To look at the sloth is to look at a living, breathing meditation. Everything about this gentle animal is designed for rest, for conservation, and for absolute peace. Its long, curved claws act like natural hooks, allowing it to hang from the branch without using any muscular effort at all. It does not need to grip tightly or strain its arms. It simply locks its claws into place and surrenders its entire weight to the strength of the tree. Imagine allowing your own body to surrender like that. Let your hands, which have held on to so many things today, finally uncurl. Let your fingers become completely loose, resting softly by your sides. You do not need to hold on to anything right now. The bed beneath you is your strong branch. It will not let you fall. You can simply let go. The sloth's thick, coarse fur is uniquely adapted to its slow-moving lifestyle. Because it spends so much of its time in a state of tranquil stillness, its fur has become a tiny, thriving ecosystem of its own. In the dim light, you can see a soft, pale greenish tint coating its hair. This is a special, symbiotic algae that grows only on the sloth. The algae provides the sloth with perfect camouflage among the canopy leaves. And in return, the sloth provides the algae with a safe, slow-moving home closer to the sun. The sloth does not try to constantly groom itself to perfection. It does not fight the forest. It allows the forest to become a part of it. It embraces the quiet mosses and the gentle algae, turning its own body into a miniature, hanging garden, resting quietly on the mother sloth's chest, buried deep within her thick, green-tinted fur. is a tiny baby. The infant is curled into a perfect, soft ball, its tiny claws wrapped gently around its mother's body. The baby's ear is pressed firmly against the mother's chest, listening to the slow, steady, deeply reassuring thud of her heart. Asterisk, thump, 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 asterisk. It is one of the slowest heartbeats in the mammalian world. A profound, unhurried rhythm that dictates the pace of their entire existence. The sloth's metabolism is incredibly slow, meaning it does not need to constantly forage, constantly hunt, or constantly move. It can spend days in the exact same spot, simply watching the sun rise and set, feeling the rain wash over its fur, and listening to the wind. Watch the mother sloth breathe. Her chest rises with an agonizing, beautiful slowness, lifting the sleeping baby just a fraction of an inch, and then falls, completely relaxed, completely at ease. Her eyes are closed, her face arranged in a natural, gentle curve that looks like a perpetual, peaceful smile. She gives us the ultimate permission to rest. In a world that constantly demands speed, productivity, and endless motion, the sloth reminds us that there is immense value in simply being still. The world does not end when we stop moving. The forest continues to grow, the rivers continue to flow, and the earth continues to turn, even when we pause to close our eyes. When was the last time you looked up at the night sky and felt at peace? When was the last time you allowed your own heartbeat to slow down, matching the ancient, unhurried rhythm of the earth? As you lie there, let your breathing align with the slow, deep breaths of the resting sloth. Draw the air in, taking your time, letting it fill the very bottom of your lungs. Count silently to yourself if it helps. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then release the air, even slower than before. Let it wash out of you, carrying away the final traces of the day's anxiety, the lingering to-do lists, the echoes of hurried conversations. Let your muscles become long, heavy, and completely uncoiled. Your legs are heavy, your arms are heavy, your mind is a quiet, still pond, undisturbed by a single ripple. You are safe. You are held. You are surrounded by the gentle, invisible friends of the forest. And as the night deepens further into its velvety embrace, you can allow yourself to drift, slowly and peacefully, into the most restorative, healing sleep. The night has now reached its deepest, most velvety meridian. This is the hour when the world completely surrenders its edges to the dark, when the sharp outlines of the day dissolve into soft, charcoal smudges and liquid silver. The moon, having climbed to its highest point in the sky, sends long, luminous beams down through the gaps in the immense canopy. These beams act like gentle, glowing pillars holding up the architecture of the forest, illuminating small, quiet stages upon the damp earth and the moss-draped branches. Allow yourself to simply float in this silver illumination. Notice how the darkness here is not a void, but a presence, a thick, comforting weight that wraps around you, shielding you from the demands of tomorrow. Your body is safe. Your mind is safe. you have crossed the threshold into the most tranquil depths of the night, a place where time no longer marches forward in rigid, ticking seconds, but flows backward and forward like a slow, breathing tide. High above the forest floor, bathed in the pale light of the moon, a creature moves with such profound, deliberate slowness that it appears to be moving through water rather than air. It is a slow loris. Its large, incredibly round eyes are designed to gather every microscopic particle of moonlight, giving its face an expression of eternal, gentle wonder. The slow loris is a masterclass in the art of taking one's time. It does not leap. It does not bound or scramble. In the human world, we are so often praised for our ability to move quickly, to multitask, to leap blindly from one endeavor to the next. Even when we are exhausted, we praise the hustle, the rush, the frantic leap into the unknown. But the loris knows that there is immense power and unparalleled safety in moving with absolute intention. Watch as it navigates the complex highway of vines and slender branches. It reaches out with a beautifully articulated hand, its fingers curling slowly, deliberately around a new branch. It does not simply grab. It senses the wood. It feels the texture of the bark, the strength of the branch, the subtle give of the tree. Only when it is entirely certain that this new hold is secure, only when its grip is perfectly established, does it begin to shift its weight. And then, with a beautiful, fluid grace made possible by a spine that can twist and stretch in miraculous ways, it gently releases its back foot from the previous branch. There is a profound philosophy in this simple movement. The loris never experiences the terrifying sensation of free fall. It never lets go of the past until it is safely, firmly anchored in the present. It moves through the canopy with a continuous, unbroken chain of safety. As you watch this creature in the quiet theater of your mind, you can begin to adopt its deeply reassuring strategy. Think of the worries, the unresolved tasks, or the lingering anxieties you might still be gripping from the day. You do not have to forcefully tear yourself away from them. Instead, you can slowly reach out and take hold of this present moment, the softness of your pillow, the steady rhythm of your own breathing, the warmth of the blankets. Establish your grip on this peaceful reality. Feel how solid and real it is. And then, only when you feel completely supported by the bed beneath you, you can gently, softly release your hold on the day. If this story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself in the morning. Remind your waking self that you are allowed to move through your life with the deliberate grace of the slow loris. You are allowed to test the waters, to ensure your footing, and to take things one quiet, intentional step at a time. Here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark, and your gentle presence adds to the light. As the loris disappears into the dense, fragrant leaves, moving silently toward a cluster of sweet, nectar-producing flowers, we follow a single beam of moonlight as it travels all the way down to the forest floor. It guides us away from the towering trees and toward the base of an ancient, moss-covered limestone cliff. Hidden behind a thick curtain of dripping ferns is a quiet, unassuming opening in the rock. From this opening flows a current of air that is incredibly cool, smelling of ancient stone, pure water, and deep earth. It is an invitation. We drift gently inside, floating effortlessly into the heart of the mountain. The transition from the forest to the cave is seamless, a soft stepping from one sanctuary into another. As the moonlight fades behind us, we are not left in darkness. Instead, as our eyes adjust, we witness one of the most breathtaking, soft twists of the natural world. The vaulted ceiling of the cave, arching high above a completely still, glassy subterranean pool, is entirely covered in thousands of tiny, glowing blue-green lights. It looks exactly as if the cavern has captured its own private universe. These are the gentle glowworms of the deep earth. They do not flash or strobe. They emit a steady, continuous, luminescent turquoise light, born of a quiet, internal chemistry. Hanging down from the ceiling by the thousands are microscopic threads of silk, spun by the creatures to catch the moisture in the air. These threads are covered in tiny droplets that catch the blue-green light, turning the ceiling into a shimmering, hanging galaxy of liquid stars. It is a moment of pure, unexpected awe. In the place where you would expect to find the most profound, heavy darkness deep underground, surrounded by solid rock, you instead discover a spectacular constellation of light. This hidden cavern holds a beautiful truth about our own interior landscapes. Sometimes, when we feel the most enclosed, when we feel we have retreated into the deepest, darkest parts of ourselves to escape the overwhelming noise of the world, we discover that we are not empty. We possess our own internal constellations. We have our own quiet resilience, our own inner glow that shines most beautifully only when the outside lights have been completely turned off. Listen. In the absolute silence of this illuminated cavern, a single drop of water gathers on the tip of a stalactite. It swells, capturing a tiny, perfect reflection of the blue-green stars above. It hangs there for a long, quiet moment, perfectly suspended in time. And then, it falls. It travels slowly through the cool air, landing in the dark pool below with a sound so delicate, so perfectly clear. It resonates like a soft, musical bell. Plink, asterisk, concentric rings of tiny, gentle ripples expand outward across the surface of the water, catching the light of the subterranean galaxy and sending it dancing softly along the limestone walls. The ripples spread further and further, becoming slower and softer until they gently touch the rocky shore and melt away, returning the pool to a state of flawless, mirror-like stillness. When was the last time you looked up at the night sky and felt at peace? Or perhaps, when was the last time you looked within yourself and found a quiet, glowing resilience you didn't know was there? Allow your breathing to synchronize with the slow, steady glow of the cavern stars. Inhale the cool, ancient air of the mountain, feeling it soothe the back of your throat and fill your lungs with pure, clean peace. Exhale slowly, letting your body become as heavy and still as the ancient stones around you. You are completely protected here. You are held in the heart of the earth, under a canopy of gentle, living stars. Let the boundaries of your physical body begin to soften, melting into the quiet of the cavern, as your thoughts become nothing more than slow, gentle ripples on a profoundly dark and peaceful pool, drifting effortlessly toward the deepest, most restorative sleep. We leave the magnificent, hidden galaxy of the subterranean glowworms behind, floating effortlessly on the gentle current of the cool air as it sweeps back toward the entrance of the cave. We follow the tiny, musical stream of water that trickles from the cavern's mouth, a silver thread weaving its way through the moss and ancient roots, carrying the deep, undisturbed peace of the mountain out into the open embrace of the rainforest night. As we emerge from behind the curtain of dripping ferns, the vast canopy opens up once more, revealing a sky swept clean of clouds. The moon has shifted its position, casting a wide, unbroken path of shimmering silver across a sprawling, tranquil lagoon where the forest river pools and widens. The water here is incredibly still, acting as a flawless mirror that perfectly duplicates the glowing face of the moon and the surrounding silhouettes of the towering trees. A faint, ethereal mist hovers just inches above the surface, a soft breath exhaled by the warm water into the cooling night air. Let your mind drift out over this wide, glassy expanse. Notice how the river, which earlier carried seeds and fallen leaves with a quiet, continuous momentum, has now found a place to simply pause. It does not push forward here. It spreads out, taking up space, allowing itself to pool and rest before eventually continuing its journey. It is a profound reminder that even the most powerful, unstoppable forces in nature require a lagoon, a spacious, quiet place to stop, to gather themselves, and to simply reflect the light. As you lie there, nestled deep within the comfort of your own bed, imagine your mind as this wide, tranquil lagoon. Throughout the day, your thoughts have been a flowing river, moving quickly, navigating the rocks and bends of your responsibilities. But now, the river can widen, the current can fade. You are allowed to take up space in this quiet hour. You do not need to move forward tonight. You only need to spread out, become perfectly still, and reflect the gentle, healing peace of your surroundings. As our eyes adjust to the soft, silver light illuminating the shallows, we notice a cluster of shapes resting near the muddy bank. At first glance, they appear to be nothing more than large, smooth boulders, completely undisturbed by the gentle lap of the water. But as we watch closely, the boulders begin to breathe. The surface of the water ripples ever so softly with the slow, rhythmic rising and falling of their chests. These are capybaras, the gentle giants of the riverbank, and perhaps the natural world's greatest masters of relaxation. They have waded into the warm shallows to rest, finding absolute sanctuary in the embrace of the water. Nature has designed them perfectly for this exact kind of peace. Their eyes, their small, rounded ears, and their nostrils are all aligned in a straight row at the very top of their heads. Because of this brilliant biological adaptation, they can sink their heavy bodies entirely beneath the surface, leaving only the very top of their faces exposed to the cool night air. Imagine the profound relief of that submersion. The capybaras do not have to carry their own substantial weight. The water takes it all. It supports their heavy bones, soothes their muscles, and wraps them in a steady, comforting warmth that perfectly matches their own internal temperature. They are experiencing complete, buoyant weightlessness, Allow yourself to feel a shadow of that same weightlessness right now. Feel how the mattress rises up to cradle the heaviest parts of your body, your hips, your shoulders, the back of your head. You do not need to hold yourself up against the gravity of the world anymore. Let the bed absorb your weight entirely, just as the warm lagoon absorbs the weight of the resting capybaras. Sink a little deeper into the mattress, letting go of any lingering tension in your lower back, releasing the tight grip in your knees, and allowing your feet to fall completely, naturally outward. The capybaras do not rest alone. They are deeply social, gentle creatures, and even in the water, they remain close to one another. A mother rests with her side pressed softly against the side of her young one. They do not need to speak. The simple, physical presence of their warmth is enough to communicate safety. Their eyes are half closed, heavy with sleep, and their breathing is synchronized, creating a collective, incredibly slow pulse that seems to dictate the rhythm of the entire lagoon. In this quiet togetherness, we find a beautiful reflection of our own human need for connection. Even when we are resting, even when we have retreated into the silent sanctuaries of our own minds, there is a profound comfort in knowing that we are part of a larger, unseen community. We are all navigating the gentle currents of the night together. If this story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself in the morning. A small note of kindness to greet you when you wake. Acknowledge your own beautiful capacity to slow down and find peace. Here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark, and your shared experiences, your memories of quiet moments, add a comforting warmth to this space we share. As we watch the resting family, a remarkable, soft twist of nature unfolds. Stepping delicately across the wide, floating lily pads that dot the edge of the lagoon is a small jacana bird. It has incredibly long, slender toes that distribute its weight so perfectly it appears to be walking on water. The bird is looking for a safe, elevated place to rest for the night, away from the muddy banks. Without hesitation, the jacana steps lightly onto the exposed, mossy brown back of the largest capybara. The great animal does not flinch. It does not shake the bird off or submerge to escape it. It simply blinks its dark, heavy eyes and lets out a long, slow sigh through its nostrils, blowing a pair of gentle bubbles onto the surface of the lagoon. In this magnificent, quiet moment, the capybara transforms into a living island. It becomes a sanctuary within a sanctuary. It is so deeply anchored in its own peace, so entirely unbothered by the world, that it naturally becomes a place of refuge for a smaller, more fragile life. There is an immense, breathtaking wisdom in this interaction. We often believe that to be a source of strength or a sanctuary for others, we must be actively doing something. We must be fighting, solving, or constantly moving. But the capybara teaches us that sometimes the greatest gift we can offer the world is our own profound stillness. When we are deeply grounded in our own calm, when we allow ourselves to truly rest and be at peace, we unintentionally become a safe harbor for the people around us. Our calm becomes contagious. Our quiet breathing helps to steady the racing hearts of those we love. When was the last time you looked up at the night sky and felt at peace, knowing that simply being yourself was entirely enough? You do not have to perform your worth tonight. You do not have to solve the puzzles of tomorrow by simply lying here, by allowing your breath to slow and your body to soften. You are cultivating a beautiful, radiant peace that will stay with you long after the sun rises. Look out at the water one last time. The silver reflection of the moon is unbroken, save for the incredibly gentle ripples created by the breathing capybaras. Time, in this lagoon, does not feel like a ticking clock or a running hourglass. It feels like a vast, deep ocean, stretching out infinitely in all directions. There is no rush because there is nowhere to run out to. You have all the time in the world to rest. Breathe in the cool, mist-laden air. Feel it wash over the back of your throat, traveling deep into your lungs, carrying the silent, ancient wisdom of the living islands. And as you breathe out, let your consciousness soften, blurring the lines between the heavy, resting animals, the warm, supportive water, and your own tired body. You are drifting together on the great, slow river of the night, entirely safe, entirely unbothered, and moving effortlessly toward the deepest, most beautiful shores of sleep. The night has now woven its final, most magnificent layer of peace across the vast expanse of the rainforest. We have traveled through the lingering warmth of the twilight, beneath the living architecture of the sky forest, and across the slow, silver waters of the tranquil lagoon. Now, the world enters its deepest, most sacred phase of slumber. This is the hushed, velvet hour long after midnight, a time when even the wind decides to rest, leaving the ancient trees standing in absolute, majestic stillness. The air is exquisitely cool, carrying only the faintest, sweetest memories of the damp earth and the heavy, sleeping blossoms as we drift away from the water's edge, moving like a soft, invisible thought through the dense, protective foliage. We realize that the forest has completely surrendered to the dark. The vibrant chorus of the evening has faded into a profound, unbroken quiet. It is a silence so deep, so rich and enveloping, that it feels almost like a physical presence, a heavy, comforting blanket wrapping around the shoulders of the earth. In this absolute stillness, we find a beautiful truth that our busy, waking minds so often forget. The most beautiful things always arrive in silence. They do not demand our attention with loud announcements or frantic movements. Peace, healing, and true restoration come to us only when we stop actively reaching for them, when we allow the noise of our own expectations to quiet down, and when we simply make space for the quiet to enter. Deep within the sheltered understory, far away from the open paths, and hidden safely beneath the sprawling roots of an ancient, fallen mahogany tree, a tiny sanctuary has been claimed. The hollow arch of the massive roots creates a perfect, natural cavern, completely shielded from the elements. The floor of this small retreat is lined with centuries of soft, dry leaves, creating a bed that is incredibly warm, yielding, and secure. It is here, in this perfectly hidden haven, that Apudu, one of the forest's smallest, gentlest deer, has come to rest. She is a creature of immense delicacy, her coat a rich, warm, reddish brown that blends flawlessly with the shadows of the earth. She has spent her day navigating the vast, overwhelming world with quiet caution, constantly alert, constantly moving. But now, nestled within the protective embrace of the ancient roots, her long day of vigilance is finally over. Watch her as she prepares for her deepest rest. The process is not sudden. It is a slow, beautiful, and deliberate dismantling of all her waking tension. First, she meticulously folds her delicate, slender front legs beneath her body, lowering her chest softly onto the cushion of dry leaves. Then, with a gentle, graceful shift of her weight, her hind legs fold quietly beside her. She curls her spine into a soft, perfect crescent, bringing her body into the smallest, warmest shape possible. She does not need to hold herself up anymore. The earth has caught her. The ancient, heavy wood of the mahogany roots forms an impenetrable roof above her, standing guard so that she does not have to. If you are still holding on to any lingering tension in your own body, allow yourself to mirror the quiet surrender of this gentle creature. Feel the surface beneath you acting as your own impenetrable sanctuary. Your bed is your safe hollow. You do not need to brace your legs against the weight of the world. Let your knees soften and roll gently outward. Let your hips sink entirely into the mattress. Allow your spine to release its rigid posture, melting beautifully into the supportive softness beneath you. The little deer rests her head gently across her folded front paws. As she does, the very last remnants of her daily energy begin to evaporate into the cool night air. Look closely at her dark, gentle eyes. They have watched the sun filter through a million leaves. But now, the lids are growing incredibly heavy. She blinks once, the motion slow and drawn out. She opens them again, but only halfway. The world outside her safe hollow is already fading into a blur of comforting shadows. She blinks a second time, and the lids tremble softly before remaining closed. Let your own eyes become just as heavy. You have seen so much today. You have processed thousands of images, navigated countless spaces, and read the invisible energies of the world around you. Your eyes have worked so hard, and now they deserve to rest. Give them permission to close entirely. Feel the tiny, delicate muscles around your temples and your brow smoothing out, releasing their grip. Let the darkness behind your eyelids become a vast, peaceful sky, free of any demands, free of any bright lights, offering nothing but pure, soothing shade. With her eyes closed, the pudu's breathing begins to change. It transforms from the shallow, quick rhythm of the waking hours into something profoundly slow and rhythmic. You can see her small, warm chest rising with an incredibly slow, measured expansion, filling her lungs with the quiet, safe air of the hollow. There is a long, peaceful pause at the very top of her breath, a moment of complete, suspended stillness. And then, her chest falls. It is a deep, effortless release. With every exhale, her muscles become looser. The tension in her neck dissolves. Her ears, which are usually standing tall to catch the slightest sound, gently relax, drooping softly toward her shoulders. Her heart rate is slowing down, beating with a steady, muffled thud that echoes the ancient, unhurried pulse of the earth itself. She is no longer a separate, waking entity navigating the forest. She has become a part of the forest's own slumber. She is entirely heavy, entirely loose, and completely at peace. Allow your own breath to find this exact, hypnotic rhythm. Draw the cool, quiet air deep into your chest. Feel your ribs expanding slowly, softly, without any force. Hold that breath for just one gentle second, enjoying the feeling of fullness and peace. And then, let it all go. Exhale completely. And as the air leaves your body, imagine it carrying away the very last grain of worry, the very last fragment of thought. Your chest is heavy. Your arms are heavy, resting limply by your sides. The fingers completely uncurled. Your legs are heavy, sinking deeper and deeper into the warm, holding embrace of your bed. Your entire body is profoundly relaxed, bound softly to the earth by the comforting pull of gravity. The forest around you continues to breathe, but you no longer need to pay attention to it. The rivers will continue to flow out to the sea. The canopy will continue to gather the silver mist, and the stars will slowly wheel across the vast, dark sky. The world is safely carrying on its magnificent, quiet work, and it does not require your participation right now. You have done enough. You are enough. If this story brought you calm, leave a gentle comment for yourself in the morning. A soft note to remind your waking heart of the peace you found here tonight. Don't forget to subscribe for more peaceful nighttime journeys, returning whenever you need a safe harbor to drop your anchor. Here, no one rests alone. Every story is a soft lantern in the dark, and your presence is a valued part of this quiet community. But for now, there is nothing left to do. There is nowhere left to go. The night has wrapped you in its safest, warmest embrace. Let yourself drift on the slow, heavy currents of sleep, carried away into the most beautiful, healing dreams. Now, rest, sleep well, and good night.